Greetings, BookTube. Welcome back to the History Shelf. I am your host, Peg, as ever. Say happy holidays to all of you out there. Today is December the 19th. Nope, hang on, the 20th. It is Saturday, December 20th. And guess what, guys? I'm officially on vacation until January 5th. What do I do with myself? Well, I have plenty of things planned. Trust and believe. Lots of books I'm reading, lots of book reviews I'll be writing over my break. Lots of videos I want to make. I've got so many books to kind of work my way through with you guys. But anyway, and I do have a surprise for you. I can't show you right now, but it might come later in the video, might come in another video, but I've got a surprise for all of you. Anyway, we'll get to that later. So let's go ahead and just talk about what today's video is going to be about. These are books that don't really fit into any, convenient naming category. These are books I have received that either are, I've been trying to do the new month, new history, and there weren't a lot of December releases. I've got a ton of things to show you for January already. January, February, March, into April, May. I'm getting galleys of lots of different things. But this is kind of like a grab bag of sorts. I'm going to show you. Some of these are advanced review copies, but some are finished copies. So I thought you might like to see some of the things that have arrived here at the History Shelf. So without any, rhyme or reason, I'm just going to start picking books off the top and we'll move through these, and maybe something here will stand out to you. Maybe this might make a great Christmas gift for someone that whatever you celebrate, maybe this could be something that, or maybe you want to keep it for yourself. So yeah, where do I begin? So like I said, we're going to go off the top. Let's go with this. This is a finished copy. I think I've got the press sheet here with it. Yes, I got this from some very nice people at the Marketing Society, I guess. But it says here, the best reviewed horse history book of 24 and 25. Do you know what that is? I'm going to show you because I got it. I got a finished trade paperback copy of this book. Raiders, Rulers, and Traders. The Horse and the Rise of Empires by David Chaffetz. Trying to do this so that I won't block the light. When did this book come out? This is from Norton, W.W. Norton. This is going to be great. Let's see. I'll just read off the back here. In Raiders, Rulers, and Traders, David Chaffetz recounts the history of the horse, the animal most entangled in centuries of human civilization. From ancient Assyria and Persia to the 13th century Mongols to the high noon of colonialism, horses have enabled new forms of warfare, encouraged long-distance trade routes, and acquired deep cultural and religious significance. Drawing on recent research in fields including genetics and forensic archaeology, Chaffetz provides a novel explanation for the turbulent history of the Silk Road and demonstrates how horse breeding was indispensable to conquest and statecraft. Raiders, Rulers, and Traders is a captivating account of the great horse empires that have shaped our world. Let me see here. I'm trying to think if I've read anything by David Chaffetz. He's written A Journey Through Afghanistan and another book called Three Asian Divas. Fantastic. So this book probably, let's see here. When did this come out? 2024. So I had not heard of that. And so I was like, yes, I would like to look at this. We've got all of the maps, some artwork here, archaeological finds, this kind of stuff. So if you're into like the Mongol history, Genghis Khan or Genghis, whatever people, there's so many multiple ways of pronouncing it, I suppose. Chinese history, we've got Iran and India in here. and the Turks, of course. So the horse and the rise of empires, that sounds really, really gripping stuff right there. So I wanted to share that with you. Ooh, and then this one looks great. So this came out earlier in the year, I think, from Pegasus Books. Yes, it did. October 7th. I don't know how I missed it, but then I found it and I said, I got to read this because I've always been interested in this battle, and I'm trying to learn more about this time period, especially when it comes to like British arms and their imperial wars and things like this. This is Peter Hart's Chain of Fire, the Siege of Khartoum and the Campaign of Egypt and the Sudan. Again, from Pegasus Books. It came out October 7th. It's a nice kind of a beefy read here. Let me see. What's the best way to read this? I'm going to hold this up so you can get a look at this beautiful cover. There we go. In the 1880s, British control over northeastern Africa was a political minefield that Prime Minister William Gladstone wished to avoid until his emissary, Charles Gordon, was besieged in Khartoum. And the city became the focal point for war. It was the height of European colonialism. Injustices were administered, bloody battles fought, and civilians were often caught in the crossfire. Among the famed British officers involved were figures who would later adopt starring roles in World War I. Yes, and you know who I'm going to say next, Kitchener, baby. Such as Egyptian Army officer Captain Herbert Kitchener. By turns shocking and dynamic, Chain of Fire examines the terrible desert wars using the testimonies of the men who fought there. So yeah, this one's great. This one's been blurbed highly everywhere. We're talking Kirkus Reviews, New York Times Book Review, Publishers Weekly, Military History, Library Journal, all the good places. So this is, I've always been fascinated by the battles in Egypt, and Khartoum was one of them. Oh, this is good stuff. Oh yes, the traditional heroic depiction of General Gordon's death at Khartoum, January 26, 1885. So yeah, I want to dive into this period a bit more. I know there's so many things I still want to learn about, and that's the joy of being a reader, is that you can come to a topic once, leave it for a little bit, and realize, hey, there's been 18 books that have been written about it since. And then you get the joy of rediscovering and maybe looking at an event in a different way. For me, kind of studying, just how these type of imperial colonial wars went about gives me a broader idea of, how empire ends, the things that kind of lead to its final dissolution. And I do believe it's these chains of battles and events, military conflicts that kind of just subvert, the whole intention of imperialism abroad. It doesn't make you many fans. That's what I can say. But anyway, Chain of Fire by Peter Hart, out now from Pegasus Books. And yeah, looking forward to it. This is going to be so tasty for me and my history palette. All right, let's get to something a little bit different. Like I said, this is a grab bag. There's no rhyme or reason. This is more of a, I don't want to say it, maybe a coffee table book. This is put out by, Brandeis University Press. We've got a university press title to show you. Very interesting title. Weimar Under the Palms. Pacific Palisades, German Exiles, and the Invention of Hollywood by Thomas Blubacher. Translated by Elizabeth Laufer. It's a slim little volume from Brandeis University Press. I'm trying to make sure that the focus is still working. There we go. Maybe this is a better side. I think it is. Okay, so what is this one about? And I think Martine will really love this one as well. She's a cinemaphile. She loves the classic cinema of the 30s, 40s. She even enjoys watching silent films. She's a very consummate fan. She knows her Hollywood history. Boy, does she ever. In the early 20th century, Pacific Palisades was home to America's most modern film studio, as well as the proposed site of the world's largest Christian center. By the end of the 1920s, the Los Angeles neighborhood had become a refuge as German and Austrian filmmakers, among them Salke and Berthold Viertel, settled there. They were soon followed by cultural and intellectual giants of the Weimar Republic who were fleeing Europe, such as Max Reinhardt, Hans Eisler, or Max Horkheimer. These talented and influential exiles turned Pacific Palisades into a Weimar under the palm trees. Though many were happy and successful, including Vicky Baum, Thomas Mann, and Lion Feuchtwanger, others felt as if they were in a sun prison, far from home. I love that. Sun prison. Yes. For some of us who are more of the, the gloomier, we have more of a, well, I don't say I'm gloomy at all, but too much sun kind of bums me out after a while. I like to see rain. I like to see clouds. I like to see snow. I like to see all those type of things. That's why I was dragged to Florida against my will when I was a child. I had no say in the matter. I hated Florida, and I could never live there. It just, one season all the time is not my thing. And then it's just hot, humid, ew. Don't like it. Recounting a story of glamour and great minds, Thomas Blubacher brings to life the history of German-speaking exiles that is still alive today, taking us on a journey to this special place, which was so recently tragically devastated by fire. Very true. Many of the homes in this book have now gone, but Marta Feuchtwanger's Villa Aurora and the Thomas Mann house still stand as a testament to luck, resilience, and to history. This is so great. This came out in October as well. So, like I said, I'm just getting around to highlighting these books now. Slim read. I could just, browse through this. Oh, it gives you a nice map of the different homes and where people lived in Pacific Palisades. This is going to be a great book for any of you guys out there who are live in that area, and or anyone who is just really into Hollywood history. Tons of. Well, wait a second. I thought there were tons of pictures in here. Oh, how interesting. This book has no pictures. Okay. That might be a drawback. I'm just going to say, there's so many people in here. I think it's missing some photographs. It should definitely have photographs of some of these folks, but that's my only critique. Of course, I haven't read it yet, so I might have more critiques, but just looking at it from a initial, I'm like, you got to have some photos in here. But anyway, but it was blurbed by Kirkus Reviews, an original take on Weimar Republic's emigres' influence in Hollywood and vice versa. I just wish they had some pictures, some photos. But anyway, if you like straight history, I'm sure there are tons you can Google these people's pictures. So anyway, Weimar under the palms. Something a little different for you guys out there. Oh yes. And Yale contacted me about this book and asked if I would like to see a copy. And I said, yes. This is something very, very interesting to me, especially in our current environment. This is by Paul Starr, and this is called American Contradiction, Revolution and Revenge from the 1950s to now. This is a fairly new release. Don't think I had a pub sheet included. It came out in the last month or two, I think. Definitely this year. And it's a pretty beefy book. So from Yale University Press, I'll have to read from the insert here. Okay, so it says, how did Americans come to elect Barack Obama and then Donald Trump? Those choices capture what Paul Starr calls the American contradiction. Isn't that fascinating? That immediately grabbed me. So when I read the press release from the publicist, I was like, oh yeah, I need to read this. The whole truth about America, Starr argues in this new history of the U.S. since the 1950s, has never been contained in one consistent set of values or interests. Our nation was born in the contradiction between freedom and slavery. Today, it is beset by a contradiction between a changing people and a resisting nation. a nation with entrenched institutions that have empowered those who fear the changes and look to restore an old America of their imagining. Starr tells this history from the dual standpoints of the progressive movements that changed the American people and of the movements that emerged in response. Black Americans, he argues, served as a model minority, setting in motion America's 20th century revolutions in gender as well as race and rights. With the decline of industry and the rise of economic inequality, millions of Americans have felt dispossessed and want the old America back. Trump is their revenge. American Contradiction tells the story of how 1950s America became the almost unrecognizable America of the 2020s. Wow. That really resonates with me. And I love this is assiduously noted. There are so many endnotes in this book. His research is on full display here. So fantastic. So without the endnotes, we're looking at about 360 pages. But I feel like once I start this, I'm not going to be able to put it down. So I think I'm going to try to slot this in. I've got a lot of things to read and finish before the end of the year, mostly historical fiction that I'm writing reviews for and editing other reviews for Historical Novels Review, which I am a U.S. reviews editor for. And I really enjoy the work. And I'm going to bring you those books and do video reviews for the books I'm writing reviews for Historical Novels Review. It's a whole new thing I'm doing. I'm looking more at doing more video book reviews for reviews that I am not compensated for. So that's another thing we can look forward to in 2026. I should make a standalone video about things to, where we're going in 2026 with this channel and maybe putting out some polls and asking you guys what you would like to see. But anyway, I really want to chart in some reading time for things that are not assigned reading. And this is definitely one of them. So it's out now from Yale University Press, American Contradiction by Paul Starr. Oh, I wasn't prepared to show you this one just yet because I've got several other books downstairs in this series, but I do have to show it to you because you know what? It's part of an amazing series that I would love to do a dedicated reading project on next year. And who am I talking about? I'm talking about Alexander Solzhenitsyn, my friends. Of course I am. Notre Dame Press, University of Notre Dame Press just released the next book in the Red Wheel series. Boom, look at this. I am so excited for this, you guys. The Red Wheel, April 1917, Node 4, Book 1, translated by Claire Kitson. These nodes and these book numbers are always confusing to me. I'm always like, am I missing one? Because we've got Node 4, but you might have Node 3, Book 2. It's so crazy. It just came out. Let me get to this. April 1917, Book 1, captures the division and helplessness of Russia's first revolutionary rulers. Yes. Paving the way for the victory of the ruthless Bolsheviks later that year. So let me give you a little bit of background here on the Red Wheel. One of the masterpieces of world literature, the Red Wheel is Nobel Prize winner Alexander Solzhenitsyn's multi-volume epic work about the Russian Revolution, told in the form of a historical novel. Does it get any better than that? This is up my alley. I love everything Russian Revolution. Oh, here comes the surprise I told you about. One moment. Let me do this. Oh, she is so crazy. Hang on. Look who came to. Surprise, everybody. Christmas came early.
She's all brushed and everything.
She just got a bath. This is our new mini schnauzer.
Can we do a shout out to
Teddy.
Vintage Dog Rescue and Susan?
Yes. Susan's last name? Or no, maybe I shouldn't do her last name. Shout out to Vintage Dog Rescue here in Colorado. I'll leave a link in the description box below. Martine's off screen here. This is Teddy, our 8-month-old mini schnauzer. We just got her, a week ago? Got her a week ago. As many of you know, we lost our boomer in the summer, and he was such a huge part of our lives, and no one and nothing could ever replace him. But we have missed having a schnauzer energy in this house. And look at these eyes of hers. Look at these blue eyes. She's just so playful. Everything's new to her in this world. This whole world is new, isn't it? And she just got a bath and she smells so good. And then Daisy's behind us and Roxy. And yes, the girls have come to like her and they want to play with her right now. Look at Roxy. Give her to me. Thanks for bringing her up, Martine. Oh, right in the middle of our Alexander Solzhenitsyn. Here comes Teddy Solzhenitsyn.
Tell them about Sparta. Tell them about going through different.
Oh, yeah. So there's a whole here. Can I let her back out with you?
Come on, you.
So the whole story, this is going to be a long video. I hope you guys don't mind. I know many of you like my long videos, but I have to say, so we didn't really know. We were running through names when we first brought her. Susan, the wonderful woman who fosters these animals, said that her name was Tiva because the previous owners had to surrender her. They couldn't take care of her. We're not sure of the whole story. But Tiva was short for sativa. So we're like, okay, so her former owners were really into pot or marijuana. And it was just like, okay. So we were trying to just think of different names. And one of them I was, because, history, right? And Martine was like, maybe we can call her Sparta. And then we could say, this is Sparta. It's funnier you had to be there, I guess, but it was funny. This is Sparta. So in that, then we had a bunch of different names that included 4 different names, and it always ended in Sparta. So we had fun with that for a few days. And then I was like, you know what? I used to work with a woman who had the name Teddy. And I always thought Teddy for a woman or a female's name was always so cute. And this dog is such a teddy bear. She loves to roll with you and nuzzle you. And so we're like, we're going to call her Teddy and see if it sticks. And you know what? I think it's stuck. So welcome, Teddy, to our universe and to the BookTube universe. You'll see more pictures and videos. We'll make sure we include her. So now we have 4 dogs again. And God help us. All female. I don't know if you can see her, but like Roxy isn't, her fur is black. You cannot see her. She is curled up in here. She's like, I need a break from the puppy. And Roxy's only like 2.5, 3 years old. So, but she's like, no. Anyway, I'm sorry for that, but hopefully all you dog lovers enjoyed that little interval. So we'll get back to the Red Wheel. All right. And I'd love to know if anyone has access to these books, if they might be interested in starting reading this series with me. I'm sure maybe some of your libraries might have the series, but I know Notre Dame Press is having a sale. I don't know if it's still on, but it should be for the holidays, but you could check it out. Okay, so yes, this is the multi-volume epic work about the Russian Revolution told in the form of the historical novel. April 1917, the 4th node. Still get confused of why they're called nodes. Shows the intractable divisions that would lead Russia to catastrophic communist dictatorship and civil war. Whereas the first 3 nodes of the Red Wheel form its first act. Okay, I'm following, I think. So its first act, the revolution, April 1917, opens its second act, the rule of the people. The action of book 1 of 2. Okay, so this is book 1 of 2. So we're going to get another one probably with the same color. The other 2 I have are red. So now we've kind of gone to like a light, like a darker beige color. So as you can see, book 1. So we're going to have a book 2 of node 4 for April 1917. Okay, so the action of book 1 of 2 is set during April 11th through May 5th of 1917. Book 1 presents an early showdown, just 7 weeks into the revolution, between its various wings. The provisional government comes under fire for its bourgeois capitalism and continuing commitment to World War I. Bolshevik leader Vladimir Lenin returns from exile and delivers his April theses in Petrograd. actively sowing seeds of division. He declares that the revolution is not complete and openly calls for civil war, outlining a radical plan to overthrow the provisional government and seize power for the Soviets. Amid the chaos and rising tide of Bolshevism, the elements of resistance and decency slowly begin to awaken. So this is a major reading project that I really want to get to before I die. So this is brand new from Notre Dame Press. I'm very excited to undertake it. And yeah, if anyone out there is interested, and if you have some of these, let me know. Let's try to chart something into 2026. All right. Moving on. Oh, let's see what okay, let's take a look. This was kind of fun. This was sent to me. If you don't have a lot of time on your hands, but you really want to, read some history, or someone who might be looking for something short and grabby, as it were. This is A Short History of Ancient Rome by Pascal Hughes. This is put out by Hanover Square Press. Not too large of a book, as you can see. Obviously, it's a short history. Let's see here. Combining impeccable research with riveting and action-packed storytelling, we follow the inception, expansion, and ultimate fall of the Roman Empire, inviting readers to walk Rome's bustling streets, witness the fearsome exploits of its all-conquering army, and step into the opulent corridors of its palaces and pioneering building projects. In a bacchanalian feast of despotic rulers, colossal conquest, and visionary women, gladiator games, and the daily life of Roman citizens and its subjects, A Short History of Ancient Rome charts the dramatic twists and turns of the kingdom, the republic, the empire, and its decline as readers navigate this crucial period in history. So it's got some interesting kind of call out boxes here, kind of make things a little bit more understandable, Yeah, so I'm gonna browse through this. It never hurts to have a short history of ancient Rome. Oh, I like this one. I just finished reading and wrote a review for Shelf Awareness. Oh shoot, I was gonna save this book for. Well, I'm gonna do a dedicated thing. This is a new book coming out in January. Okay, I'll show you that in a second. Look at this. This is about Hannibal the Adversary. I like this graphic here. Ooh. Yeah, I'm going to probably dip into this one. I probably will pick out the ones I want, the chapters I want to read. We got Sulla in chapter 6, but we have Hannibal in chapter 5. So this one is out now. Let's see here. Oh, of course, we've got maps. You got to have maps if you're doing a short history of ancient Rome. This one is this is from the creator of the hit podcast Short History. I didn't know that they had a podcast. There's that. I want to tell you about this book that I'm going to be doing I might be doing a comparison study. You know what? You'll see it when you see it. I don't know what else to tell you. It's coming though. But there's a brand new history of Carthage coming out in January from Norton Books, and I've read it and I've written my review, and it should be publishing pretty soon with Shelf Awareness. Carthage, A New History by Eve McDonald. It is fabulous. Just fabulous. I got an advanced ARC. I'd like to get a finished copy of this. It was awesome. All right, but let's continue on with our grab bag of books. And you might see more about Carthage and also Carthage in historical fiction in January. I plan on doing a deeper dive. And then this was really interesting. Just a very slim volume. I wouldn't even call it a volume. This is Pirates, Punters, and Politicians. How the Bank of England was founded by Val Hamilton. Now look at this. Let's see how small. Whoa! You missed it. If I turn it almost, it's like, what? What's going on here? Hey, where'd my Happy Holidays badge go? There we go. Happy Holidays. This is put out by Kronos Books. It's a UK publisher. It just says here, you could read this in one sitting, over breakfast, whatever you're doing. In Pirates, Punters, and Politicians, Val Hamilton vividly tells the story of the origins of the Bank of England, delving into the mishaps, fortunes, and bizarre twists of fate. from Spanish treasure and swashbucklers to sheer happenstance and political maneuvering that came together to create the Old Lady of Threadneedle Street. The story hinges on the life and works of William Paterson, the Scotsman who founded the bank. Chancer or genius? Author Val Hamilton suggests he had to be both. How fun. Something I've never read or I've never heard of these people. I've never heard of Paterson. I haven't read much about banking history, but this looks interesting. Oh, and he's written, Val Hamilton has written Daniel Defoe and the Bank of England, The Dark Arts of Projectors. So he has a certain niche, doesn't he, Val Hamilton? So this is from the good folks at Kronos Books. Very slim. I'll take a look. I've got almost 2 weeks off. What? I can't believe it. I am on vacation. Got to make some more videos because I've got to do some shelving, guys. I've got so many books piling up in my parlor. I would be embarrassed to show you the video footage. I want to get things in order. I want to get things shelved, put away. I haven't gotten there yet. This is one I've shown you in galley form, but the publisher was kind enough to send me a finished copy. And how fun is this? We all love Old West history. Hey, I do. This is Brothers of the Gun by Mark Lee Gardner. The subtitle is Wyatt Earp, Doc Holliday, and a Reckoning in Tombstone. That's just fun. That's just fun history for me. Brothers of the Gun. And I've always been, one of my favorite Westerns is Tombstone, of course, with Kurt Russell, Sam Elliott, Val Kilmer, all those guys. I love it. Let's see here. This is a colorful and groundbreaking account of the most storied friendship of the American West, the bond between Wyatt Earp and Doc Holliday. And I love, too, that they're looking at the friendship of the two men because they did have a very significant friendship. They really impacted each other's lives. Wyatt Earp and Doc Holliday, legendary gunfighters and friends who gained immortality because of a 30-second shootout near a livery stable called the OK Corral. Their friendship began 3 years before that iconic 1881 gunfight in the rollicking cattle town of Dodge City. Wyatt, an assistant city marshal, was surrounded by armed, belligerent cowboys. Doc saw Wyatt's predicament from a Monte table. That's like a card game, Monte. From a Monte table in the Long Branch Saloon and burst out the door with two-leveled revolvers shouting, "Throw up your hands." The startled cowboys did, and Wyatt and Doc led them off to jail. Wyatt credited Doc with saving his life, and thus began their lasting and curious friendship. In this illuminating dual biography, the first about Earp and Holliday, the lives of these two men, one a sometime lawman and the other a sometime dentist, are chronicled in a swirling tableau of saloons, brothels, gambling dens, stage holdups, arrests, manhunts, and revenge killings. And while there's plenty of gunsmoke in the saga, hero worshipping won't be found. Wyatt and Doc, just like anyone else then and now, had their flaws and failings. And the unsavory parts of their lives are here too. And I appreciate that. Let's not make it a, hagiography. In Brothers of the Gun, Old West authority Mark Lee Gardner reveals fresh information about Wyatt's and Doc's early lives, their famous friendship, the OK Corral gunfight, and Wyatt's controversial vendetta ride following the assassination of his brother Morgan. Drawing upon new research into diaries, letters, court records, newspaper reports, and firsthand observation at historic sites, this is the definitive book on Wyatt, Doc Holliday, and their enduring bond. Brothers of the Gun is edge of your saddle storytelling at its best. Yes, I love it. And there is look at our author. I just love that photo. What a dapper gentleman. What a wonderful sense of style. I love that. I should have mentioned this book is published by Dutton. So thank you at the folks at Dutton Publishing. I can't wait to just, kind of lose myself in history that I started off with. Many people ask me, how did you start getting into history? Between the Old West and the Civil War, that's where I cut my teeth on becoming a history buff, a history nerd, and a lifelong, just a bookworm. My parents bought me on subscription. Remember those Old West, those Time Life books where it had like the brown leather puffy covers, you know what I mean? And then I had the whole set. I still wish I had that set. And I had the Time Life Civil War series with the silver embossed blue and silver covers. I think they now reside in a library somewhere down in Alabama, because I told my mom that she could donate them, even though listen, it was too much to ship them back to me. Someone else is enjoying those books, hopefully, in a library. But I grew up on that stuff. I subscribed to True West and Old West magazines, Civil War Times, before it became Civil War Times Illustrated, or vice versa. I forget. But anyway, that's how I cut my teeth and becoming just a history nut, and deciding I wanted my degree to be in history was on Old West. So this is scratching an itch for the history that I really, it's like nostalgic. I start reading these histories and I feel like I'm a young kid again, because that's what I loved reading. And that's where I became a Louis L'Amour fanatic, and I've showed you in an older video. I was finally reunited with all my paperbacks that are all yellowed. Some of them have a little bit of like a mold stain on the side, but because they were with my mom in Alabama for a while in her garage, and she sent them to me. So anyway, I'm just, it reminds me so much of another time and a place where I was just like, I'm going to be a historian. I'm going to write about this stuff. I love reading about it. So yeah, I'm going on and on, but I just want to let you know that this stuff it hits a place in me, in my heart. I'm excited to read this. This is another one I'd like to tap into over the break. So Brothers of the Gun, this is out right now by Mark Lee Gardner. Wouldn't that be fun to have him on the program? I'm just loving it. I'm scheduling author interviews now left and right, and I would love to have him on here. That'd be great. Anyway, very excited for some good old Old West history, dual biography, and such. 36-minute video. I don't know if I can get through. We're going to do our best. Now this I got in Galley, and I think it could be out now. For any of you out there who love maps, why, how they're made, why they're made, how it changes how the way we look at things. This is a title coming from Mudlark Publishers. I think it's already out. It's called This Way Up: When Maps Go Wrong and Why It Matters. Sorry for the glare. They just kind of bound this galley up for me. This is by Mark Cooper Jones and Jay Foreman. I seem to be missing my pub sheet for this, so I can't. I'm so sorry. I can't give you a description on this right now unless I pull it up. Let me see if I can pull this up for you guys. 1 second. Okay, we're back. Just making sure we're back. I pulled this up so I could read you a description of this. Okay, This Way Up: When Maps Go Wrong. This actually looks like Hanover Square Press is the publisher of this. And it looks like this is going to be a fun one. It's currently marked like almost 50% off on Amazon right now in hardcover. It says the debut book from the YouTube sensation and all-around cartographical nerds, the Map Men. And I have never heard of the Map Men. It says here, hello, we're the Map Men. And in the following pages, we've selected what we believe to be some of the very best wrong maps. Some of them are decades old, some are centuries old, and some are so recent they're still being published today, or yesterday, if you're reading this tomorrow. In This Way Up, we delve into laugh-out-loud funny, hilarious geographical gaffes, including world maps that forgo entire countries, colonial maps with mathematically impossible borders and made-up mountain ranges, maps of U.S. states with fake cities. This is fantastic. I've never heard of any of this. Painfully incorrect maps on live news channels, and more. Whether you're an avid map junkie or simply map curious, each chapter uncovers a unique tale of adventure, error, and unexpected humor as we attempt to answer the question, what on earth happened here? How fun. All right, so let me get back here and see what kind of examples we have. Oh my God. Oh, they give you kind of some fun things. Like I show you a map of the UK. An example of a map with a subtle mistake. Can you spot it? Well, good luck. I don't know. Let's see here. Where the streets have no name. That's funny. The map that's blank. Yep. Where the streets have no name. So it looks like it's kind of like a, irreverent kind of look at, just errors and making maps. And this is great. Oh no, hey, look, it's the Epstein files. Everything's been redacted. What? What? Oh my God, what is going on here? So this looks like a fun read. Yeah, this could be fun. So I just wanted to kind of share that with you. This Way Up, Where Maps Go Wrong, from Hanover Square Press. How fun. All right, let's see here. Oh, okay, now we're going to jump back into, let's share this one. This is, I was contacted by the author of this book, and seeing as how we're coming up on the 250th anniversary of the country, right? This book. Okay, let me back it up here. This is by Thomas K. Clancy, Life, Liberty, and the Pursuit of Happiness, and this is called 4th of July Stories at the top. And he asked if I would be interested in taking a look at his book, and I said absolutely, especially with next year we're going to have the big 250th celebrations, and I kind of want to start, I'll be reading a lot of books probably around, the founding, Declaration of Independence and all that kind of stuff. But Thomas Clancy was so kind to send me a copy of his book. And this is published by Sunbury Press, which is in Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania. So what is Life, Liberty, and the Pursuit of Happiness, 4th of July Stories about? Let me tell you. This book tells American stories occurring on one day, the 4th of July, beginning with the Declaration of Independence on July 4th, 1776, and throughout our 250-year history. The Declaration of Independence announced that the new nation was grounded in an idea, right? We all know this one. All men are created equal, that they are endowed by their creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Inside this book's covers are the founders who gave birth to that idea: Adams, Jefferson, Washington, with each having more than one consequential 4th of July. The Declaration's promises now include more people, and the concept of liberty is more expansive than what the founders believed. Subsequent birthdays witnessed efforts by Lincoln, Frederick Douglass, Susan B. Anthony, and Filipinos to include more people within the Declaration's promises. The resulting expansion of liberty sometimes took many decades. The pursuit of happiness has also evolved and is highlighted by 3 different men on 3 very different 4th of Julys: Theodore Roosevelt, Henry David Thoreau, and Lou Gehrig, with each pursuing different versions. Important victories at Gettysburg and Vicksburg and heart-rending scenes of military prisoners still honoring America have coincided with the nation's birthday, illustrating the costs of freedom and the sacrifices that have been made. Nonetheless, freedom has expanded, and that expansion has often coincided with the 4th day of the 7th month. This all makes the 4th of July worthy to be our only federal holiday, with America as the honoree. Interesting. Let me see, a little slim volume here. Wonderful. He's got copious endnotes. This will be a great read as we go into 2026. And I start focusing on doing a lot of books around the anniversary. And yes, thank you, Thomas, for your kind note. I will be following up on this. I wanted to wait to read it until we're in the year of the celebrations, and so because I want to focus on making a video or 2 that cover some of these books, and my reactions and my thoughts to them. So thank you to Thomas Clancy, and this is available right now from Sunbury Press. So start scheduling your America's 250th birthday TBR. And here's another one you can consider adding to that. Looks great. Okay, so that's another project looking forward to doing in 2026. Now here, this is something. This is very different. I love just being contacted by a publicist or an author who has just a book that is normally not within my my genre, but promises maybe something that could really just broaden my horizons. And I have heard of this author. I've watched a YouTube or video of him a couple of times, and I've considered maybe picking up his fiction. I think he's also a poet, and I know he's really big in some circles. But this is a new book by Paul Kingsnorth, and this is called Against the Machine, on the Unmaking of Humanity. And this is put out by Thesis Books, or Thesis Publishing House or Press. I'm not sure what their full title is. But look at this beautiful new hardcover here. Against the Machine, on the Unmaking of Humanity, which I think is another book that appeals to me because of, I just find that there's times where technology anymore, I wonder if it's been the boon that everyone thinks it is. Like I really feel like when I grew up in the 70s and 80s, there was just a whole nother way of living. And I don't know, it makes me think, and I think this book is going to take me there. Let's see what this one's about. A spiritual manual for dissidents in a technological age. And of course, I'm saying this as I'm using all of this massive technology to actually broadcast from my home to hundreds of people, thousands, whoever's, and it's just like, wow, it's a double-edged sword for sure. A power that we all feel but cannot name is moving across the world. Each week, life seems more monitored, networked, efficient, controlled. State power merges with tech power as the oceans empty and the culture disintegrates. Some days it can feel as if we are living inside the plot of a mid-20th century dystopian sci-fi novel. Do we control our devices, or do they control us? And who or what controls them? Welcome to the age of the machine. In Against the Machine, the furiously gifted, and that's what the Washington Post says, novelist, poet, and essayist Paul Kingsnorth presents a wholly original and terrifying account of the technological cultural matrix enveloping all of us. With masterful insight into the spiritual and economic roots of techno-capitalism, Kingsnorth reveals how the machine, in the name of progress, has choked Western civilization, is destroying the earth itself, and is reshaping us in its image. That's bleak. From the first industrial revolution to the rise of artificial intelligence, he shows how the hollowing out of humanity has been a long game, and how your very soul is at stake. Wow. It takes effort to remain truly human in the age of the machine. Writing in the tradition of Wendell Berry, Jacques Ellul, and Simone Weil, Kingsnorth reminds us what humanity requires: a healthy suspicion of entrenched power, connection to land, nature, and heritage, and a deep attention to matters of the spirit. Prophetic, poetic, and erudite, Against the Machine is essential reading for all who would reject progress's Faustian bargain. Yes, and there's our author, Paul Kingsnorth. Again, another book I want to tap into sooner rather than later. Yes, I want to come back to you on this one. So I'm going to put this one. I think this is an important book because I have been kind of thinking about technology lately, and yeah, there's something going on. So Paul Kingsnorth, Against the Machine, from Thesis Books, out right now. I think here's another one that is kind of a long, maybe ancillary to this topic. Another book, again, that is a little bit outside of my reading genre or preferences, but it sounds like it's going to kind of grab me, and I'm always looking to open up my reading parameters a bit. So I don't have the pub sheet for this right now, but I'm at 48 minutes. We're going to go up to about an hour today, if you don't mind. This is Blank Space, A Cultural History of the 21st Century by W. David Marx. This is put up by Viking Books. This is out right now. Let's see here. The first sweeping history of how money, technology, and ideology rewrote the rules of culture in the 21st century, from music and fashion to art, film, TV, and everywhere in between. Over the past 25 years, pop culture has suffered from a perplexing lack of reinvention. We've entered a creative blank space, an era when reboots, yes, now I see where they're going with this, and I've also felt this, an era when reboots, rehashes, and fads flourish, while bold artistic experimentation struggles to gain recognition. Why is risk no longer rewarded, and how did playing it safe become the formula for success? Acclaimed cultural historian W. David Marx sets out to uncover the answers. I agree about these reboots. Martine and I mentioned before, she's a cinemaphile and just the classic days of Hollywood. We've just been, since we've been together, it's just like, why are they remaking things? Does anyone have any new ideas for movies out there? But having said that, there is hope, because I just saw the trailer for Steven Spielberg's Disclosure Day the other day, and it's wigging me out a little bit from what I've heard about it and what I've seen in the trailer. That's some original stuff. But just the constant, remaking movies from 20, 30 years ago. It's like, do you have any new ideas? What's going on? Anyway, in this book, Marx guides us through the blur of the 21st century so far, from the Obama era to the rise of K-pop, from Paris Hilton to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which I do not watch. I'm so over superhero crap in movies. I don't even get me started on that. I loved it when I was a kid. That was when I was a kid. I just don't, it does not appeal to me now. From Beyonce and Taylor Swift to Beyonce and Taylor Swift, whose enduring influence highlights both their adaptability and the broader shifts in pop culture, combining sociological, economic, and political insights with a deep dive into art, street culture, fashion, and technology. Blank Space dissects the rise of profit-driven, formulaic trends and the changing societal norms that often prioritize going viral over innovation. Yes. Marx reveals how backlash against indie snobbery and 90s counterculture gave rise to a counterculture, one marked by anti-liberal sentiment, the celebration of business heroes, and the increasing influence of industry plants and the elite class. In a world of crypto bros, Nepo babies, and AI-driven art, Marx offers readers a much-needed dose of clarity and context. I mean, that's intriguing. I mean, I'm interested. I'm going to see where I can dive in here. I'm not sure if I'm going to be like reading all of it, just because I don't like reading about fashion and pop stuff. But the other aspects of it, I think, will appeal to me. Yes. So anyway, Blank Space by W. David Marx. That's kind of hard to say. I don't know why. This is out right now. All right. And then I got a couple more here. This is from Echo Books. Kind of ties in with my interest in reading about Russian history. This is called Motherland, and I wish I could pronounce her last name. I don't have anything here to help me. Motherland, A Feminist History of Modern Russia from Revolution to Autocracy. This is by Julia Ioffe, I think. Let me go ahead and... Hi, here we go. Oh my gosh, the focus. I kind of throw off the focus from time to time. There we go, Motherland. All right. Echo Books. This came out, I think, a couple months ago. I think maybe in October. In 1990, 7-year-old Julia Ioffe and her family fled the Soviet Union. Nearly 20 years later, Ioffe returned to Moscow, only to discover just how much Russian society had changed while she had been living in America. The Soviet women she had known growing up, doctors, engineers, scientists, seemed to have been replaced by women desperate to marry rich and become stay-at-home moms. How had Russia gone from portraying itself as the vanguard of world feminism to becoming a bastion of conservative Christian values? In Motherland, Ioffe turns modern Russian history on its head, telling it exclusively through the stories of its women. From her own physician great-grandmothers to Lenin's lover, a feminist revolutionary, from the hundreds of thousands of Soviet girls who fought in World War II to the millions of single mothers who rebuilt and repopulated a devastated country, from the members of Pussy Riot to Yulia Navalnaya, the wife of opposition leader Alexei Navalny, Ioffe chronicles one of the most audacious social experiments in history and documents how it failed the very women it was meant to liberate, and how that failure paved the way for the revanche of Vladimir Putin. Part memoir, part journalistic exploration, part history, Motherland paints a portrait of modern Russia through the women who shaped it. That sounds great. And I think I've seen her. I've watched some news interviews with her on YouTube. She's definitely got a lot of deep insights into Putin and his reign of power and abuse and everything else. So I've enjoyed seeing her speak. So I definitely am going to enjoy reading this, I think, because she's just a very savvy woman and very brave for writing what she does. Oh, we got some great photos in here. Yeah, I like that it's a blend of, and there we've got the famous Russian, the Soviet Union sniper, who was a woman who had the highest, you know, I think the highest kill rates or something of in World War II, as far as the sharpshooters go. So yeah, right up my alley again, with the Russian motif here, and also looking at it from the the history of women there. So, and it matches my shirt. No, I was kidding. So this is out now from Echo Books, Julia Ioffe, Motherland. All right, where are we at? 55 minutes. Oh, I wanted to share this with you too. The good folks at the publishing company called The Experiment. This is a nice, just a desktop kind of day-to-day. Like if you enjoy history, like history by the day, like the calendars that you can rip off a little piece, and it says, "Hey, this day in history." Well, they have a book all about this for, and I'll feature this again in February. This is Black History for Every Day of the Year by David Olusogo and Yinka Olusogo and Kemi Olusogo. It's got 23 images and illustrations and 12 timelines, but basically Black history for every day with photos and little shout out boxes. Look at fantastic little artwork here. What a fun book, right? I'll give you a little taste of it here. Did you know that Aretha Franklin was the first woman to be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? Or that the first accounts of a black samurai in Japan date back almost 500 years ago? Written by historian and broadcaster David Olusogo and his siblings, Professor Yinka Olusogo and artist Kemi Olusogo, Black History for Every Day of the Year is an illuminating overview of consequential people, places, and events in Black history. Accompanied by photos, quotes, and illustrations, these 366 entries will take you on a journey across global history from the ancient kingdom of Kush to the Black Lives Matter movement. Oh, this is great. Oh, what is this? You'll learn about unsung heroes from history as well as contemporary figures and events. Oh, yes. So have fun. Let's go ahead just for fun and see what today's is. Today is December the 20th. And on December 20th, although we don't have a picture, we're looking at Fannie Lou Hamer. What did she do? Oh, sorry. Roxy needs to go out. 1 second. Okay, sorry. She was starting to whimper, and I just had to keep moving on. But anyway, Fannie Lou Hamer, she was active in the civil rights movement, and one of her last big projects was the founding of the National Women's Political Caucus. Fascinating. So Black History for Every Day of the Year. And we'll probably see this one again in February for Black History Month, but I wanted to share that one with you as well. Okay, couple more books. Yep, we're going to hit an hour on this video, but there's a lot to show you. So this is a new book from the University of California Press. That kind of reminds me of a book I read for review about a year and a half ago, Rings of Fire, and it had a lot to do with the Kodak and the photography, how photography was used to improve the gun sights on ships, and the Kodak industry was really involved in that. And this kind of reminded me of this when they reached out to me and said, "Would you like to take a look at this?" This is Tales of Militant Chemistry: The Film Factory in a Century of War by Alice Lovejoy, and a very beautiful, evocative cover. Again, this is from University of California Press. Let me just hold this up for you here. Hollywood may sell glitz, but the story behind the film industry as we know it is far from glamorous. Let's see here. From Nazi Germany to the Manhattan Project to the Cold War, Tales of Militant Chemistry tells the revelatory and chilling story of how the same materials that made film and photography possible also powered war and environmental devastation. Let's see. Film and media historian Alice Lovejoy uncovers a buried history that links photographic film to poison gas, uranium enrichment, colonialism, and military industrial expansion. This includes the story of Eastman Kodak's involvement with the Manhattan Project and the devastating nuclear bomb dropped on Hiroshima 80 years ago on August 6, 1945. This goes back to that book I was telling you about that I read called Rings of Fire. And of how, as post-war weapon tests accelerated, damaged film at Kodak's factories became a harbinger of the environmental and health hazards of nuclear fallout. Along with Kodak, Germany's Agfa is at the heart of this global history. The two photographic giants' chemical empires were inseparable from the global machinery of 20th century violence, and they present a critical parallel to the current surge in economic nationalism, from trade wars to tariff battles. Not only were Kodak and Agfa photography's great powers, they were also key players in militarized state economies. Today's debates about tariffs, monopolies, and corporate state entanglements echo the earlier patterns that linked these companies to weapons manufacturing, raising crucial questions about what happens when industry, government, and warfare intersect and the larger agendas they support. Yeah, isn't that fascinating? And it says here, Lovejoy's book explores urgent and overlooked histories, offering insights into topics like, let's see, film's chemical cousins, tariffs and economic nationalism. Okay, so that's this might be an academic book. I will know once I start reading. But I think I've kind of been prepped for this by reading that book, Rings of Fire, and I'm trying to remember the name of that. I read a lot of books, guys. I write a lot of reviews, and so it's hard for me to remember all of them. But yeah, it's intriguing. I bet you I'm going to read about some stuff that I've already read about before, but it's going to be fascinating either way. I love learning. That's all I can say. So Tales of Militant Chemistry, The Film Factory in a Century of War, from the University of California Press. That is available now. All right. Now, next book. This is from, is this Penguin Random? Nope. Yes, it is. It's another book from Thesis. That Paul Kingsnorth book, Against Humanity, it was from Thesis Books. And then this is another one that looks really, really good that I really, hope to make some time to read over my break. Why Fascists Fear Teachers, Public Education and the Future of Democracy by Randy Weingarten, president of the AFT. What is that for? I should know what that stands for. But all right, let's see here. This is a rousing defense of public education as the cornerstone of American democracy. By the woman attacked by the far right is the most dangerous person in the world. Okay, I don't know why Randy Weingarten names is not, it's coming to me. I don't know. Attacks on schools and teachers have long been a hallmark of fascist regimes. Throughout history, as many dictators rose to power, they began banning books and controlling curriculum. Fascists fear teachers because teachers foster an educated and empowered population that can see past propaganda and scare tactics. Fascists fear teachers because they teach young people how to think for themselves. As the head of one of the largest teachers' unions in America, okay, that's what her claim to fame is, Randy Weingarten is among the last lines of defense for American public education. For decades, she has sounded the alarm that attacks on teachers are part of a larger, darker agenda to undermine democracy, opportunity, and public education as we know it. After the Trump administration declared its intention to dismantle the Department of Education, that alarm became undeniable. This book tells the story of what teachers do and why those who are afraid of freedom and opportunity try to stop them. It explains why all Americans should care about attacks on schools and teachers, whether they have school-aged children or not. In the past, as today, the fate of the United States is inexorably intertwined with the fate of public education. So that sounds like another topical and timely treatise that I think it would behoove many of us to grapple with. So this is out now from Thesis Books, Why Fascists Fear Teachers by Randy Weingarten. And then finally, we'll close with a straight history title that came out only a few days ago. The publisher is Reaction Books. This is a slim little history. I think they have others in this type of series of, I think, looking at leaders or royalty. Anyway, I have an uncorrected proof of Francis I, the Night King by Glenn Richardson. I don't know much about Francis I, and so let me just read to you a little bit about this. A compelling, concise biography of the 16th century French king whose patronage was central to Renaissance art. All right. Francis I of France led one of the most colorful and influential reigns of the 16th century. Known as the Night King, he was a chivalric warrior, strong ruler, and a passionate patron of the arts and the French nobility. While he faced setbacks and took significant risks, Francis left his successor a kingdom that was larger, better governed, and more stable than before. This concise biography paints a vivid portrait of Francis, exploring his achievements, challenges, and enduring legacy. It captures his role in shaping the French Renaissance, blending engaging storytelling with insights drawn from extensive primary sources. Cogent and lively, this book provides a clear narrative of Francis's reign and explains why he is celebrated as France's great Renaissance monarch. Yeah, I wish I had more to say. I don't know much about this guy, but I've got a little short biography here to clue me in, and this is from Reaction Books. Came out December 13th. It's about 224 pages. All right, so there you have it. There's my grab bag. Tell me, as always, which book appeals to you in the comments below. Let me know what you think of Teddy, our new edition. And yeah, sorry I went a little long, guys, but you know, that's just the nature of my channel. I don't do the algorithm. I don't do 20-minute videos and bounce out. I make them long. It just happens. Anyway, guys, I'm going to be doing more videos over the break, so stay tuned. I'll have more coming to you. But in the meantime, drop me a like, drop me a comment. Hey, why don't you subscribe while you're at it? Anyway, happy holidays, everyone. And look, check that out. Woo! We're going to have fun. We're going to have fun over this break, guys. Anyway, I hope you're having a great Saturday. I hope to have this uploaded. This will be up a little later tonight. So until then, guys, take care. Thanks for joining me here on the History Shelf. We'll see you soon. Bye.